Hi, hello, and welcome to my channel. My name is CJ. I'm the sole proprietor and responsible for the content of this channel. The channel is really intended for power users to unlock the system, to get the gold that's just beyond your reach, and to do some creative things. I wanted to go through items. So everybody knows the item card, but if we go to items, and let's just use this as an example. Items, we go to items, and I can see that this is the Kronos package. So this is the same data that you would have yourselves. The standard system, I may have some sales orders and things that are different. So of course I see the contents of the items in the database. It doesn't tell me a whole lot. I can click on the item. I can bring up the item card, and it's going to give me some specifics as far as the posting groups and general ledger accounts and costings and planning and item tracking and so forth. I mean, all kind of really important stuff. But there are some things here that are embedded that I think that the users just see, but they can't sort of do much with it. And one of them happens to be the inventory tab. And on this tab in particular, it gives us the ability to see quantities, quantity on purchase order, component lines, so the stuff I'm going to make, the stuff I'm going to buy, the stuff I'm going to consume in a production order, and then gives me in information that I need. But it's not in a manner, I don't think it's in a manner that's in a format that can be as helpful as possible. So one of the things I do is contrast what is available. So if I put the same data into one of our API queries, I query the item card, which is ODATA API page 30. Now, this same data that we see as far as the this particular item is 1900S, I can see I have quantity on hand of 0. I have quantity on purchase order of 8, and I have quantity on sales order of 10, which means I'm too short. Now, if I had to sell them immediately, if a customer wanted to pick them up, I have none. So the difference is available to sell is I have none because I can't sell it today and somebody can't walk away with it. My available to promise is I have 8 that are spoken for. Now, I don't know who they are. I don't know when they're going to go. The next extension that I have is we'll build the report that actually tells us a sales order. This is another view of the APIs that are contained in the system. So quantity by available to premise, sorry, a spelling mistake, promise by item by date, or available to promise by sales order by order date. So this is resorting things out to show me, oh, this is short, which means I don't have enough inventory. Though if it's not short, I have sufficient inventory. But if I wanted to go back and review and say, well, who's ordered these ones? So I'm short for this Paris desk, 1900S. Now, all I need to do is look at a sales order by promise by date, and I can see 1900S. I'm short. What date do I need to ship? I need to ship this to the planned shipment date of 4/16. I need to ship 10 units. So it tells me how much, so I'm short because I don't have them all. But it also tells me and says of this particular item 1900S, I can look here and say, yes, indeed, it is only one customer I'm short for. Whereas if I go to here and look at this whole beans roasted Columbia, I can tell that I count them up of I have 3 sales orders and I'm short 2, which obviously means one of these customers I can satisfy, but I need to choose which ones I'm going to short if nothing else changes. Now, I didn't have to do a whole lot of data. In this particular example, I took the sales header and sales lines and just manipulated them. The beauty is once you get the hang of it and I go to show the field list, this is in Excel. This is actually a power pivot. And anything on the item card is eligible for me to show here. So for example, if I wanted to see the category codes, major customer, minor, who's buying it, where it's being shipped to, in country, out of country, what province, what state, who's the carrier, all that kind of stuff, I can get it here. So I have the item card, I have the sales order header, and I have the sales order line. So I've combined these 3 tables together and I can do anything I want. So this is just a quick overview of what's here. Now, if I go back to the item card alone and say, what did I do? I have the item card. So item card is the only table that I'm using. It's actually page 30, which is the API, but any field here is eligible for me to report on. So if I take type and I drop it in, it's there, right? So if I go type and wait for it, and it says, there we go, sorry, I took it out, type is inventory. Now, if you did a different type, so there we go, service parts versus inventory parts, I'm not restricted in any way. I don't need a developer to do this. It doesn't cost me anything. It's all up to you. So what I offer on my channel is to teach you how to fish, and then you can feed yourself. This is a wonderful tool set that's available to us. So how does it work? Well, if I go back here and say, well, how does this work? Well, if you are crafty, if you go on your keyboard and there's a function called Control Alt F1, and it's called page inspection. So when you call that out, Control Alt F1, there we go. So I'm going to get this page inspection, which appears here. I don't want the order, but the page inspection is what I'm really interested in. And what it does is it tells me the page that I'm on. It tells me the table. So the difference between a table is a single source of information. A card has information coming from various places. So for example, it's combining information on purchase orders and sales orders. If I'm on a sales order, it's going to have items from the customer. It's going to have information about the warehousing and so forth. So very important. But what it's our first clue to tell us, what page am I taking the information from? This happens to be item card page number 30. So why is that important? Well, it's important because when I go back to my Excel, and if I grab my Excel here and say, why is that important? Actually, hang on. So I'm on my item card here, but what it looks like in the background is up on top, we have Power Pivot. And what happens is we have something called manage. And when I manage, what happens is it lets me actually see the page. So this is the underlying data that's here. Now, why is this important? It's crucially important because users in the past would have to export data and then they would have to manipulate it. And they do H lookups and V lookups and SUMIFs and all kinds of extra things. But what happens or can happen is that you may make an error with your formula and you can't tell that something is broken. Because this is exported from the system controls all of this through the API. It's only reporting what's here. I have no control. I can copy over it, but it doesn't make any difference because the data is coming from the database. I can refresh it. So if I go to refresh and I hit refresh, then what happens is the item card is going to update itself from everything it's in the system. So if I close this and then shut this down and then go back into my Excel after it's finished refreshing and go here, then I can do the same thing. I can simply come on data and I can go to refresh. And then when I refresh, it refreshes the page. Now, you could do this whenever you want. Now, why is this for a power user? Because the power user is making decisions. At the end of the day, they want to know what my inventory position, where is it, when's it coming, what am I short, what's happening, if it's an internally, how do I get this out? I don't need to go and run any of the worksheets, right? I don't have to run the planning worksheet. I don't have to run advanced planning worksheet. Now, I'm not saying you don't have to. Those things are very important, but these are things that are happening on demand. You can see where they are. I can identify something that is of risk and fix it. Now, this does not replace anything else on Business Central, but what this does is this is an enhancement tool set that'll teach the power users what to do for yourselves to get you the information that you always want, but you've always been curious about how come the standard system doesn't give me the thing that I want in the format that I want. We can do mathematics with it. We can link pages together. We can do a bunch of great things. But anyway, thank you for sharing. And what I'm going to do is I will build how you build the report separate from how you use the report. So those are coming out soon. Thanks so much for watching. Bye now.